Hey best friends, I'm Claire.
I'm Yana.
Welcome to
My Best Friend's Book Club.
My Best Friend's Book Club.
Book Club. We kind of harmonized there.
I liked that.
Yeah.
So, if you're new here, we pick a book and we read a handful of pages each week, and then we meet, chat, and laugh, and go through them. So if you're reading along with us, please send us your notes. Our Gmail is mybfbookclub@gmail.com.
Come through for us.
We'd love to hear from you. And if email is too hard, because I get it, just send us a DM on Instagram or TikTok.
We're all on there.
Our Instagram is @mybfbookclub, and our TikTok is @mybfbookclub_. But don't worry, I'll change it in 30 days when I'm allowed to. So it's consistent with everything else. So for this week, we are continuing to read
Bright Young Women by Jessica Knoll.
And we are on pages 243 to 295 currently. Mm-hmm. You know?
Yes, what, Claire?
This was my favorite set of 50 pages.
Interesting.
Oh my God. Me. Really? I feel like I flew through these 50 pages. I was so interested.
I found them the most confusing for me.
Oh, why?
I feel like I can't remember a lot of it.
Let's go through the summary and then maybe you remember.
No, it was...
Listener, are you like Yana where you can't remember anything?
Call your doctor.
Let me know.
Check your insurance to see if there's coverage. That's the ice in her wine glass.
Sorry. Are you going to tell us why? Or no, am I just going to do the summary then?
Well, you have to because I don't remember. I do not recall.
Okay, so we got some really great listener feedback. We were told that a little recap of what happened in the past couple of pages will help us sort of ground things, and I think that's a great piece of feedback. So thank you, listener. So in the previous set of 50 pages, episode 3, go back and listen to it if you want to get fully caught up, but I'll give you a quick summary of that.
I might have to myself.
Go there with Yana, right?
Yeah, let's do it together. Let's start a new podcast where
you just go backwards.
Yeah, we listen to the podcast before it. To
and then we just make commentary on it.
We'll never stop reading this one book.
So what happened to our main characters in that past set of 50 pages? Tina, she shares her backstory of her abusive husband, Ed, with Ruth, who seems to be her new lover. Ed, he grooms Tina when she's age 11. He's now deceased, thanks to the grief counselor and Tina's friend, Frances. Bye. We also find out that Ruth and Tina move in together. Then over to Pamela. Pamela welcomes the new sorority girls into the house, and unfortunately the claim that she submitted to help get the house in shape after the defendant attacked, it was denied. And we get to see some really true, wonderful colors of Pamela's boyfriend, Brian, who's a real snatch and remains a further deeper snatch in these next 50 pages that we're going to discuss. I have a lot of feelings about Brian. We're going to get into it. You'll remember when we get there.
I know, but I just feel like she also has a lot of feelings about Brian.
I'm really excited for the downfall of Brian, respectfully.
And all men.
Disrespectfully. Oh.
Take the rest of you down with you.
Getting back into recap, we also have some time with Carl, who is the reporter for the Tallahassee Democrat. That's right, I got it right this time. He discovers more about the Colorado cover-up. He writes a story, but unfortunately his editor won't print it unless the defendant is arrested. We also get back to Sheriff Crusoe, and he brings Pamela into the office to identify the defendant via a lineup, and she does just that. And then a few days later, the defendant is arrested in Pensacola. So that was pretty quick recap of what happened in the last 50 pages. And now we'll go into a summary of what happened in the current set of pages that we read for this week. We're going to help Yana remember.
Please help me.
Also help you, listener, remember. And for those of you who just didn't have time to read, we're going to get you caught up.
Oh, I didn't know that was an option. I would have done the same thing.
So, in these set of pages, we start with Ruth, who tells Tina the story of how at 17, her dad, who, remember, is dead at this point, he walked in on her and her best friend Rebecca having a sexual experience.
And Rebecca is also her sister-in-law.
That's right. We come to find that as well.
Took me a few times flipping pages to remember that piece.
The moment where good old Jessica describes the sexual experience, I read it like twice and I was like, whoa, wait, what? Wait, what? And then it registered what was going on. Did that happen for you too? Or was it just me?
It was just you.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, no, I understood. I was just wondering if you confused it with your like fairy smut.
Fair.
Mm-hmm.
It's much more descriptive and forward.
Oh, than this?
We're going to have to get Yana to read a smut book.
Oh, Lord.
We're definitely going to have to get her to do that. I think maybe that should be our next book, is some kind of romantasy.
That, I'm sorry, is ungodly.
I am a Christian woman.
I am a good Christian woman.
Sorry. Okay. We also learned that Ruth's dad, as I said, he's the one who discovers this moment with Ruth and Rebecca. And he kind of forces Ruth to confront her mom, Shirley, who remains
still a bitch.
surely a bitch. And the sort of agreeance here is that Ruth must go to a psychiatric facility to quote unquote treat herself. And I think now we have a deeper understanding of why Ruth's mom wanted her to go back to the psychiatric care after her Aspen trip with Tina.
Yeah, I mean, I thought the whole thing was like an actual psychotic break, but it was conversion camp, essentially.
It's like the 70s and you're not supposed to be gay. Yeah. We're saying that's the book. That's not our beliefs, obviously. We also meet Ruth's psychiatric Dr. Burnett, who has some strange practices. He is comparing her sexual experience with Rebecca to a, quote, old youthful habit, like sucking your thumb. And it's it's just something you can, shake as you grow into adulthood. Ruth then goes on to tell Tina that this all results in her marriage to her now ex-husband, CJ. Then we jumped the timeline where Ruth and Tina recently had returned from Aspen, and now Ruth is living with Tina. Ruth really wants to host a dinner party.
She really went in
She really
straight to the housewife.
I think she really likes cooking. Same thing with the meatballs with the grief group, remember?
Yeah, I can't relate.
Of course, Tina supports that, and they decide we're going to do this one night at their house. So while Ruth is out shopping, she runs into her sister-in-law, Rebecca. Surprisingly, Ruth extends an invite to the dinner party. Ruth's meal is incredible.
Yeah, it sounds delicious.
And everyone is having a blast, including Rebecca, who Ruth notes sucked her bones clean, the chicken bones clean. That's how much fun she was having. How much she was enjoying the meal. Don't look at me like that.
No, I mean, I suck my bones clean too.
But of course, at some point, Rebecca must confront Ruth. So she does so in Ruth and Tina's bedroom after seeing that it's clear that the two of them share a bed.
Yeah.
And Ruth, who has really been quite meek up until this point, we're really proud of her. She just says, yes, we do share this room. And Rebecca comes back and says that Ruth, she really doesn't need to keep trying to hurt her family, which is a discussion point we'll get into not right now. The scene ends with Rebecca storming out of the party. In my opinion, I feel like she's just kind of miserable because she's not being true to herself.
She's jealous.
Because Ruth has fully embraced herself. She's showcasing it to the world. And I think maybe Rebecca wishes that she could have that kind of confidence.
Maybe Rebecca still wants Ruth.
Oh.
Maybe she's also jealous.
Think about that.
Maybe she's also jealous
Tina?
that she got, Tina be Tina.
Tina be Tina in. Okay, so then one final note on Ruth. She continues down her path of continuing to gain self-confidence, and she finally tells her mom that she will not be attending her father's funeral.
It's not a funeral, it's a planting of...
Oh, right.
Yeah,
it's like oh my gosh, look at you. Proud of you.
Thank you.
It's something like in memory.
Yeah, it's like a garden something or other.
Right. Good job. Okay, so the last couple pages shift back to Pamela during the timeline where she's trying to navigate life after the sorority was attacked. Pamela and her boyfriend, Brian, go to visit her parents in New York. The first night that they're there, Pamela's mom finally shares why she didn't want her going to Florida State University. She shares that at a very young age, Pamela, she was abducted for 4 days. They find her roaming around a waterfront farmland 2 hours away from where she was taken. Her mom notes that she was very happy and unharmed, though, so questionable.
And her mom also said that this was part of the distance that Pamela was probably feeling in their relationship, was her mom didn't want to feel like she could lose her another time.
Which I find to be counterproductive, but we'll get into that in discussion points. So, the next morning, Pamela and Brian go to meet her dad, Bill, who, remember, is a successful lawyer, for lunch at his fancy favorite steakhouse. During lunch, Pamela brings up that she wants to depose the Colorado Department of Corrections for their negligence and how they handled the defendant. They downgraded his security level, even though, based off the judge's ruling and his crimes, he should have been at a much higher security. Yep. This obviously resulted in him escaping not once, but twice, and obviously gave him the ability to continue his, murderous ways and attacking the sorority house. Yeah. So this opens up a really great moment where Brian...
Negative Nelly...
who we just learn is becoming just more awful, honestly, with every single page that he's a part of.
Yeah.
He decides he's going to insert himself here, and he's going to try to leverage Pamela's father, some kind of like conjoined malehood against her, to try to convince Pamela not to move forward with this deposition of Colorado Corrections. And honestly, in this moment, I was very happy with Pamela's dad. Papa Pamela. That's what I'm calling him.
Papa Pamela. Yeah, same.
He earned some serious points in this moment. He does a great job of actually listening to her. I honestly feel like this is the first time a man in this book listens to Pamela, and he low-key shows his distaste for Brian.
Yeah.
And I think one of the reasons why he really doesn't like Brian, I mean, I think there's a lot of reasons, but main thing is that he wants his daughter to go to Columbia, and she's not going because Brian did not get accepted. So there's some really great snide remarks in this chapter, which we'll get into during discussion points. Don't worry, I have some quotes for you that...
We're all shocked. Claire having quotes? What kind of world do we live in?
You gotta love a good quote. Upon leaving that restaurant, Pamela finally tells Brian that she wants to go to Columbia. She's basically done with his bullshit and his sexist ways. And finally, they part ways.
I think Brian knew this could happen.
I think Brian sucks
he does
360. He just sucks in every way.
Every way.
Even at that dinner table, he's trying to convince her dad that she's maybe being weirdly romantic with Tina. He says that the reason the sorority didn't get the reimbursement is, because the girls, they're just trying to protect the fun. Every time he has a moment to shine, he just literally does the exact opposite. And I've just decided that he's the worst.
Yeah. Well, he tried to throw her under the bus in front of her dad. Daddy Pamela.
Papa Pamela.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you.
His Royal Highness Pamela.
Okay, then we jump to present day when Pamela is older. She's married now. She's thriving. She's got a bomb-ass haircut that really suits her face. And then we get to hear about some of the court proceedings with the defendant and how the media is honestly mostly on his side, which is very disheartening. This includes... fucking Carl.
We always knew Carl was gonna fuck up.
That's literally what I wrote down.
Yep.
We always knew Pamela should have never trusted Carl.
Oh, man. Oh.
But thankfully...
Except her husband David seems fine.
That's true, and that seems to be a lovely story. So thankfully, we had predicted last episode or the episode before that maybe Pamela would marry Carl, but thank God she did not go down that road.
Thank God for David.
Because, we learned that he really sucks a lot, and he personally made sure that that story he wrote about the cover-up in Colorado never sees the light of day. He's the one responsible for that, not the editor anymore. So then Pamela and Tina go to confront Carl because not only did he take that article off the table, but he also has been publishing content in favor of the defendant, completely betraying and disregarding Pamela and Tina's experiences. So it all ends with us learning that Carl, I mean, he grew to be a real shit stain, and he's just looking for his time in the spotlight, and he's even willing to leverage the defendant to do so, going as far as to continue to hide the evidence from the Colorado cover-up when the defendant escaped there. Then we jump to the timeline where Pamela is summoned to Tallahassee.
Due to the spooky letter.
That's right. We finally learn that it's for her deposition.
Yeah. And it's not quite as spooky when you read the rest of the letter.
That's right. However, we do find out that she has to face the defendant in court.
Which I
know. That's got to be so scary, though.
Yeah.
So she also receives a call from an old alumna advisor, Linda Donnelly. Do you remember who Linda is?
Yes.
Who is she?
She must... Okay, quiz.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Whoa. She was in the very beginning of the book when she reached out. She was a sorority sister from the past.
That's right.
Who offered her support after the the dab of med. And then I forget.
She got her hooked up with McCall's. Remember where the girls went and spent the night?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then there was the funeral where she met her husband.
Yes, exactly. I
read.
I knew you were really into that love story. You pretend like you're not, but...
I just need a little help here and there.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I got it.
A little refresher.
I am not as far gone as Carl yet.
Fuck Carl.
Fuck Carl.
Respectfully. Okay, sorry. Not you. It's in the book Carl with a C. Anyway, so Pamela gets this call from Linda, and we learn that Linda is working at a sort of nursing home facility where Carl has been transitioned to in his life because he has severe dementia. And Linda advises Pamela that she should come visit, and she should try to retrieve the memories and evidence that only Carl knows about this Colorado cover-up.
And part of his dementia is also having, like, he thinks that Linda is Pamela.
And he has like really spooky moments with Linda.
Super spooky.
So I don't really know why he would open up to actually Pamela, but who knows? So that's where we really ended when it comes to Pamela. So, discussion points. There was a lot that happened in these 50 pages, and I'm feeling like there's all these little nuggets that we're supposed to remember because they're gonna become important by the end of the book.
I know, but I think that's what kind of bugs me a little bit is I feel like I get a little annoyed with these kind of stories. It's slow in the beginning and then things happen and then it goes like really fast.
Right.
And you kind of wish you actually had more time now to focus on this stuff.
Yes. In the last 50 pages, I was very frustrated. I felt like nothing really happened. It was just like, okay, what's going on? And then we get to these 50 pages and like the whole world explodes all of a sudden.
Fast.
And then, we don't have
me.
much left. So I'm assuming, I hope that to the end, we get a lot of answers and information. So
hopefully.
Donna, did you have any topics you wanted to discuss? Would you like me to go through mine first?
I have so many. I just really want us to get through yours first.
Oh, okay. And then we'll save space for yours?
Yeah, just maybe that's like, maybe this episode has to be 2 parts because I just have like a lot of questions.
Absolutely.
But hey, there's always a chance that we have some of the same ones.
Oh, that's true. I can't wait to see what you wrote down.
Yeah, let's compare afterwards, but let's do yours first.
Okay. So the first thing I wanted to talk about was Ruth's sexual experience with Rebecca.
Me too. That was on my list.
And the downfall of her relationship with her brother.
Here's the thing, though. I wasn't clear, like, how much her brother actually knows, though. At least we haven't been told, because it sounded like her parents didn't disclose it to her brother. So unless Rebecca told him, I don't think her brother knows.
Are you sure?
No.
Oh.
I'm like fairly certain, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure about anything in this world.
Well, then why would her brother dislike her so much?
But I think we don't know yet. I think the stuff with the brother is still around the dad.
Oh, maybe I just made too many assumptions then.
I don't know.
Oh my god.
Sometimes when you assume, you make an ass out of you and me.
I'm sorry if I did that. I just assumed that. So maybe we shouldn't talk about the downfall of their relationship, and instead we should dive into Ruth and Rebecca. You know what, though? Here's what I want to say. I feel like Ruth has come into this new set of confidence. She's feeling good about the way she looks. She's feeling convicted in her relationship with Tina. She seems to be much more comfortable and fine with the fact that she's a lesbian and she's got Tina by her side. And then you kind of contrast her to Rebecca, who just went ahead and married her high school sweetheart, has 2 kids, right? Alan, who sucks, and this baby.
Alan does suck. Alan, Shirley, and Brian are just the worst.
If you don't remember who Alan is, he's Ruth's nephew, the little shit who was making fun of her face.
And said the whole family hates him.
Right. And then Rebecca has a newborn baby who's crying a lot. I feel like Rebecca seems like she kind of fell into this life that you're quote unquote supposed to do traditionally. And then Ruth really took the path that is less traveled, especially for the 70s.
I don't know if she's specific feelings for Ruth. I think
maybe she's being nosy and she wants like the tea.
Maybe for the rest of the family.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Like, what's Ruth up to living with that woman Tina?
Totally. She could be a messenger, but yeah, I feel like she's not living her authentic life.
But then she storms out of the house. She's like, I hate this house and I hate everything, even though she had like a wonderful time at the dinner party.
That's literally what I would do.
Everyone held her baby, so she didn't have to. She sucked her bones dry, the chicken bones. Sorry, I don't know why I can't keep adding chicken in there.
It was also interesting though, because she said that everyone was talking to Rebecca, like, assuming this was her first child.
Oh,
and
right.
She never told them about Alan.
Which means he's a shit.
Well, he's a shit. Yeah, she's probably not proud of him. Who would be proud of Alan? I wouldn't. But I also just think that, like, she is trying to escape her real life.
I thought she just liked being, like, a new mom or pretending to be like, I'm a new mom.
Maybe she wants to be pretending she's a lesbian.
Maybe she doesn't know who she is. Yeah. And so she's just trying to be everything else but that. And obviously that doesn't work when you try to do that. I did write the quote down where they have their sexual experience, but I'm not going to read it. It was just like really weirdly described.
Rebecca and her?
Yeah. The way that she describes it, it didn't feel sexual. It felt like maybe it's like, you know, like how you'll be like, look at my boob. And you're like, you know, it's like, oh, look at mine. I was like, is it just girls being like, well, hey, look at my boobs, you know? And you're like, ha ha.
That like therapist or the pastor or whoever she was talking to, when they were like, oh, it's just experimenting at this young age, like everyone does that kind of thing. I think it was easy for her to then believe it, because that like that's kind of how you read it.
But then when the dad like walks in on her, I was like, oh, okay, I get this is a sexual thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
But then like, because she was talking about how like she was waiting for her mom to like yell, right? Like her parents would yell when they were angry, and she was just waiting for it, but it was like the silence. I think we've all had those experiences where like you get to this point where you're like, oh my God, why won't they yell? Like, I hope, like, just yell at me.
Right.
Like the calmness.
Like, I'm in so much trouble.
Yes. The calmness is so much worse than just yelling, because the yelling is just like this, you know, passion fight of like,
well, and that's what you expect, right? You're like, I'm in so much trouble right now.
Yell at me.
But then when your parents are like quiet, they're like driving you in silence, and you're like, I'm gonna die.
Gonna kill me. They're literally, that's when you're like, I'm gonna take my fucking teddy bear and run away from home.
It's like, that's the scariest. You're just like, so are we gonna talk about anything? Or?
Yeah, when at first I was like, when I was reading that part, I was like, okay, maybe like the dad doesn't tell the mom, you know, like he's gonna protect his wife.
I wish he'd done that.
And then once I learned that he did tell the mom, and this was all just like that really calm anger, I was like, oh fuck, this girl is so fucked.
Yeah, poor Ruth, man.
Poor Ruth.
This is in my discussion points.
Me too.
There's a lot of information about each one of these women's upbringings. Like, we learn a lot about Ruth's. Tina, you know, being basically groomed since she was 11. Her parents suck. Pamela, her parents and her abduction.
Yeah.
Like, every woman in this, or main character women in this story, seems to have some kind of challenging past. But I think, unfortunately, it's kind of more common than we think.
Yes. I mean, not for us. Love you, Mom.
Love you, Mom. The other thing I wanted to talk about.
Dad.
You too. Ruth's forced marriage to CJ. I do have a quote. A lot of women are like this, and society is all too happy to exploit it. Women that are gay are forced into marrying heterosexual men to try to, you know, appease their family or loved ones.
And also, I think to appease themselves, though, right? Because that's the right thing
quote
be doing.
unquote. Yeah. But we do get to see the other side of Ruth where she's kind of like growing out of this, and she finally at this point where she's accepted who she is. She's much more bold and confident. Maybe Tina has helped her with that because Tina is very much like go fuck yourself, right? Mm-hmm. So I like Tina so much.
I know. I think that's sometimes why Tina bugs me a little bit.
Wait, what?
Well, yeah. I mean, I get this with you sometimes, too, where, like...
I bug you?
Yeah, no, I, like, fucking hate you. No, it's just that, like, difference of, like, sometimes when you're feeling kind of down and there's times you want to, like, talk about it because you just want to talk about it, and then there's times you actually want someone to give you advice. So I think sometimes I would feel through...
Oh, Tina's always trying to just, like... provide solutions rather than just listen.
Yes, and sometimes like the solutions are just easier said than done. Yes, your relationship with your parents isn't great, but like this just, you know, easy response of like you just gotta be done with them kind of thing is so much easier said than done.
Right.
And when you're the person like Ruth who is in this, sometimes it's kind of like annoying to hear that advice, I think, because you know this isn't good for you, but you're just like you don't get to just make this seem so easy.
Wait, how do I play into this? You said you get bothered by me?
Let's do it off the podcast.
Oh,
just kidding. No.
Because I provide solutions.
You're a solution person.
I am a solution person.
It's
Sorry.
it's not bad. No, it's not bad. I just think that, you know, for all of us, always, like when we're actually the ones in it.
Oh, so Tina bothers you because she's like, do this, and you're like, all right, girl, like...
It's not this easy.
Like, yeah.
I'm not saying the advice is bad. I'm just saying, like, the way she presents it is so just like...
Just do that!
Yeah, just do it and move on. Like, whatever. Yeah. And you're like... These are my parents.
Right.
Like, you know, I can't just cut them off that way. Like, It's not that easy. So I think that's where Tina bugs me a little bit. And where you bug me a little bit.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I respect that. Feedback is
I'll email you later about this. My review. Feedback is a gift.
It is a gift. Why do we feel like Ruth continues to feel empathy and display empathy towards her mom when her mom is literally just the worst in every way? I mean, like, she literally did not handle her being a lesbian well. She sent her to a psychiatric facility. She guilt trips her all the time. She makes her dependable on her with the rides. She kind of guilt tripped her into living with her for a while. She made her marry CJ. She calls her to go to the dad's thing and guilts her there too. Like, those are just a handful of examples. She's just like the worst. Like, why?
I think there's so many people like that who, like, you don't get rid of that relationship because it's like...
because it's your mom?
I guess. I don't know. People stay in marriages and relationships too that are like that.
You know what? I am like fucking Tina. I'm like, just never talk to her again.
Yeah, and I'm like the complete opposite.
All right.
I don't know. I think there's also like
as I was reading it, I was like, why?
Yeah, you're Tina.
I'm Tina.
You're Tina. I'm Ruth.
Bing, 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 bing.
I'm Alan. I'm just kidding. I hate Alan. Alan sucks.
No, it's fair. I mean, it's your mom and it's a delicate situation. I just get frustrated with Ruth because I'm like, girl, just like, don't.
I wish Ruth was more combative. Rather than like cut her mom out of her life, I just wish she like pushed back more. You know, like I just wish she was petty back to her mom.
She seems like she's just non-confrontational though.
Yeah, with everything.
Yeah,
in her
literally
life,
everything.
Which is why it's like so freeing for her to be with Tina. I mean, they literally go from like, met you at grief group and, you know, I find you attractive and you must not like me because I have acne, to like, I am the woman of the house and we dress in gowns and host dinner parties. Right? Like, they're true. Dating also. They just, like, literally went to just living together.
Yeah, they, like, went on vacation and then they lived together. I'm proud of Ruth, though, for standing up for herself when Rebecca confronted her. And she was like, yeah, dude,
she's like,
I'm
live
done
here
lying
about this.
And I am romantic with Tina, so deal with it. I hope you enjoyed your chicken.
It was very moist. People loved the chicken.
Let's go to Pamela. Why don't we just start with the fact that she was 4 years old and she goes missing for 4 days. I'll give you a quote. This is Pamela's mom. When we asked you what happened, if anyone hurt you, you would just point to the wound on your foot and say, ouch. You had been hurt by someone. I'm sure of it. But your mind seemed to have confused the source. So I'm confused by this because the mom also says when they found her on the farmland, sorry, she was happy and she had no bug bites and she was unharmed. She seemed like she was like a free, happy child.
It sounded like someone like took her in and then let her out.
Right. Then she says, you had been hurt by someone. So like, where did that come from?
I just feel like we don't know the whole story yet, you know? Like,
Or do you think there will be more on it?
I
Oh,
hope
thought that
so.
was
Otherwise, it doesn't feel like enough.
Her parents just seem so busy and like uppity. Like I wonder if maybe she just didn't get enough attention and she was jolly as shit on her farmland.
I just feel like it's like there's just too many holes in the story right now with that. It just kind of got dropped on us and then taken away.
I honestly thought that was all we were gonna learn, and I was like trying to derive meaning.
Honestly, if that's all we're gonna learn, that pisses me off.
Well, then we'll know soon if you're gonna be pissed off.
Yeah, we have like 2 episodes left.
It's pretty hard to piss off Yana, so I hope we do. Why do you think her mom hid it from her for so long? Oh, wait, I think I have an idea. It just came to me.
Yeah.
Wait, do you want to go first?
I don't think I have an answer yet.
Okay. Because the whole thing with the sorority happens where Denise and Robbie die. It was kind of like a close call for Pamela and the other girls. Maybe the mom is reassessing and figuring out that maybe she should be closer to her because she like almost died again.
Yeah.
That just occurred to me. I think I might be right.
Yeah. No, I can see that.
I'm right then? Great.
You're always right.
Me. Sorry, everyone. I had to do it.
Maybe you cut that later.
Did you have any discussion points you wanted to talk about?
You actually went over all of mine.
Oh my gosh. I have some more.
No, me too, but keep going because so far they're lining up perfectly.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like, get out of my head,
crazy.
Claire.
It's almost like we have a shared notepad or something.
Yeah, that I definitely opened before this.
Yeah. So we also find out that the sorority does have to pay for the damages that was done after the defendant attacked.
But that Florida pays for Pamela to fly in for like the case stuff.
That was literally what I was going to talk about. See, I guess our notes do. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's right here. I have my stuff.
This is a great quote. I do have to read it. This is Pamela. No, I bet. It cost them more to fund a face-to-face with the man who raped my best friend with a hairspray bottle than it would have to cover the damage he'd inflicted on the house. In the end, alumni took care of the cost, but it's outrageous that they had to simply because Denise had once been intimate with a man briefly suspected of harming her.
Yeah.
That fucking shit hit me hard. And also, this is the first time that they actually say the word raped with a hairspray bottle. It's like slowly, we've kind of danced around it a bunch. We lightly mention it, and then it was just like, boom, right?
Yeah.
Kind of tiptoeing off of that when they're talking about the defendant and we're learning that the media is on his side for the most part, and Pamela is talking about the defendant not killing certain victims because it's common that, quote, women are attacked all the time by all sorts of men, weren't they? How could you possibly pinpoint some of these crimes on the defendant when men just attack women all the time? So it probably wasn't him. It was probably just some other man, right?
Honestly, why even bother dealing with any of the trial or anything?
But, you know, this is like literally a statistic. When it comes down to like who kills who more, men kill women more, which is a fact. You can look it up all you want. And it happens so often that people are just like, Or there's victim blaming, like we've seen in this book and we see in life, where it's like, oh, well, you shouldn't have worn that skirt, or you shouldn't have drank so much in that situation. But it's not women's fault. People, we shouldn't attack each other, and we shouldn't kill each other.
I mean,
did you know? All right, next discussion point, which I'm sure you also have in your notes.
I'm sure. Let's just see what it is.
Society's fascination with serial killers.
Yes.
Quote, no one could get enough of the story about the polite murderer in the robin's egg blue suit he'd worn to his arraignment. They love him. They love him because he dresses well, he's handsome, he's quote-unquote well-educated, but it's all like a facade. All of it, right? Like, oh, do you remember seeing the court cases with the defendant where the women would be on trial and then he would like snap and they would be like, that's it. That's the monster right there.
I feel like this is common, except for Luigi.
Oh, Luigi means you.
I think Luigi's different. I think the love we all feel for him are real.
But this is about society's fascination with serial killers.
Yeah, I mean, we're part of that society's fascination.
That's what my question was.
Yeah.
Do we feel like, are we still a society fascinated with serial killers? Let's say the defendant's crimes were happening today. Would it be just as sensationalized?
I think so. I mean, think like we have the Diddy trial going. Yes, that's not murder, but like terrible things.
Really bad stuff.
Really bad, but we're fascinated, right? We want to see the Dateline episode. I don't know if Dateline did it, but whoever's doing that, right? Like we want to 60 minutes. I have the podcast going. You know, I read the articles. We have the Luigi thing. Like, I think there's a fascination with it.
But I think what makes the defendant's case a little bit different is just how he projected himself. Like, all these serial killers who are all men, sorry, they end up getting, like, groupies and stuff. I think all of them have, right? Like, even the Night Stalker and whatever. But I feel like he seems a bit unique in how he projected himself and then how society responded to that. And then the media especially, because they sensationalized him and they kind of were persuaded by him. That's a very dangerous story for the victims.
I mean, even though Luigi only got one, it feels like the same thing to me, though, right? Like
Luigi's not a serial killer, though.
No, I know. He only got one. He's a one and done kind of guy.
Oh, but, because he's handsome, right? Is what
He's handsome, and it's like, this is terrible, but like, look how hot he is. And then you have all these like fun, you know, all this money going in to help with his defense, and you know, people are going, like, women are going crazy.
He's been sent so much money.
So, but I feel like that's very similar to this defendant situation, right? Yes, it's just, you know, one murder versus, you know, all of the ones that the defendant did. But I think it's a similar thing, you know, like it becomes this viral obsession.
Just because he's, like, good looking.
Yeah, and I think it's something to talk about.
I didn't even think about that. Good for you.
Thank you.
How do you?
Very smart.
You're so comprehensive.
I have really good reading comprehension and just critical thinking.
We've heard this before, and I just thought it was interesting again that it came up when Pamela is heading to her parents. The taxi driver, he says, "Hell, I'll take him.
Oh, yeah.
Give me 15 minutes with the son of a bitch."
Like, do all the men have the same script kind of thing?
Pamela's like, yeah. I stared at the back of his head in utter disbelief. Was there some sort of script men were instructed to follow in these kinds of situations?
Yeah, it's social norms.
Right. It was exactly the language Brian and Mr. McCall had used over dinner at the mansion in the Red Hills. Like, men, tell us. Do you think it's because men are, like,
thinking that they're hot shit?
Well,
I stand by what I said before. Wash a dish, okay, before, you know, get shit done at home without reminders. Think things through without someone asking for your help and things, and then talk about fighting the freaking murderer.
I feel like, I mean, I'm not a man, obviously, so tell me, man.
Thank God.
It's almost like the way they're programmed to be like, let me at him, like, I could beat him up, or it's like that protector thing.
You know what? I'd love to see it. I would love to see it.
Was it the recent, like, trend or viral thing where men were fighting gorillas?
Oh.
And they were
I'm on Instagram, I'm not on TikTok, everyone, so I don't see trends for a few months.
They were not winning, so.
Well, duh.
But it's this sort of inflated way of thinking, or, you know, like, women are taught to, like, be homekeepers and nurturers and empathetic. It's almost like this is part of, like, the male DNA. I just thought it was funny.
Yeah.
Had to bring it up. Okay. The scene where Pamela, Brian, and her dad are at the steakhouse. This was actually, like, one of my favorite parts of this.
Well, it's just because you like that Brian finally got what's coming to him.
I don't like Brian. I really like the part where she's trying to explain to her dad her case, right? She's, like, trying to see if he thinks it's a viable thing.
And they're obviously smarter than Brian.
Yes. But she's, like, trying to explain to him, and he's, like, interrupts her and is like, Pamela, can you pass the bread? Yeah. And then she's like, and then blah, blah, and he's like, and the butter? And she's like, and then she keeps on going. But then she notes that Brian is, like, he didn't even want the kind of steak that the dad ordered, but the dad is just like, honestly, I think he's trying to demasculate him a little bit.
But also, who wants well-done steak?
Was it well done?
No. This one,
Brian
was not
wanted well
but
done?
She mentioned that she knows he prefers well done, but so that's why he was eating around like the perimeter of the steak and avoiding the center because it was more rare.
He's a little bitch. Also,
He is a little
like
bitch.
you said, who wants a well done steak?
Brian sucks.
Not refined taste, Brian.
No. How dumb. A cow did not die for you to eat it well done.
And then they get into this whole thing about she's having this really intelligent, thoughtful conversation with her dad about what she wants to do. And she's starting to be a law student and he's a very successful lawyer, right? And Brian's just like injecting himself throughout this. Okay, I have to read this part because it was my favorite. This is Brian. Bill, sir, I'm just a little concerned about how much interest this woman has taken in your daughter. She was in a lesbian relationship with one of the victims. Supposed victims, that is. Fucking Brian.
Oh no, Brian
Go
sucks.
fuck yourself. My father glanced between Brian and me, chewing. Are you in a lesbian relationship with this woman, Pamela? No, Dad, I'm not. Then I'm not concerned. You know what does concern me, Brian? Do you remember what he says?
No.
That is the best cut of meat north of 14th Street. Eat up.
Yep, I remember.
He just like every little way he can undercut
100%.
Brian is it's so satisfying to me. I didn't think I'd like Pamela's parents just because of how she described them, but I was like, Papa Pamela. I am so here for you. But I love this moment. And I think it's also like, again, going into themes of womanhood and misogyny, just like Pamela kind of being in between these two men. And Brian's trying really hard to make this man connection and like get the dad to get on his side, you know, protectors of the universe. And the dad is kind of just like, Brian, you can't even get into Colombia.
Right. Well, and the dad is really, during this dinner, he's treating Pam like an intellectual equal.
Yes.
Which is
She
also...
said that was like one of the first times.
Yeah. I think it was just interesting because it felt like one of the first times in the book where a woman, you know, she's part of the discussion and she's like being listened to and
she's got like the seat at the table.
Yes,
and the men have allowed.
And her ideas are being valued
yes.
and like discussed, right? And the man is sitting in the back being quiet. One of the men.
Which I think is something really that just is super common in womanhood, though, right? Like, I can think about that in my office setting.
Yeah.
I told you a story today, right?
I mean, I work in a mostly female.
I work in, like, big tech where,
yeah.
like, you have to, as a woman, find a way to get your voice to the table and like, get people to trust you and listen to you. And it's much harder being a woman than a man. So I loved that moment. I loved just how he constantly just undercut him, and then he just brought it back to like Brian being a little bitch because he couldn't eat his steak.
Brian is a stupid little bitch.
I really don't like Brian,
I
but
hate Brian.
by the end of this, I'm done with Brian so hard.
I like that, like, she just really cut him off right away. The moment they left that restaurant, she was like, hey,
done.
I'm going to Colombia.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
She finally reached her bullshit maximum meter and was like, and then I loved when she said, I'm going to Colombia. And then he was like, that's a great idea.
It's like,
you know,
supportive.
Yeah, we will go to this
Your dad will help me.
Yeah. We'll go to the school that's not as good as Columbia
for a year
together, and then
your dad will get me in.
We'll reapply, and your dad will help me. And she was like, "No, girl, no. Bye.
Peace. Have fun at your random school."
Yeah, Brian. Fucking Brian.
Yeah.
Favorite part. Okay. Last discussion point.
Taken down.
I fucking hate Brian. Listen, I'm not a man hater, okay? I just cannot handle when men fall into these typical misogynistic roles where it's like traditional man, traditional woman, you know? Like, you see these videos on social all the time where a guy is like, where are all the traditional women? Like, I don't want to pick up my prescriptions. I don't want to make dinner. I don't want to do my laundry. And it's like, who are you, sir? Yeah. Like, what? Your partner is not your mom that does all the errands and things that you don't want to do. That's not where we're at in this world anymore, my guy.
Your wife is your partner, not your mom. She is not a living maid or a hired cleaning crew, so she doesn't have to clean up after you. I forget the rest.
Amen.
Yeah.
That was good. Again, there's literally, as we dissect this book, there's just so much of this stuff all sprinkled throughout. Last thing, fucking Carl betrayed us.
No
we
one's
knew it, though.
surprised.
We knew he was going to betray us.
But his brain betrayed him.
Poetry.
Ah, yes. As they say, karma, she is a bitch.
So Carl decides that he just wants his time in the limelight, and he hides the story of the Colorado cover-up, and he just decides that he's going to be schmoozed by the defendant as well. He even talks to him. They have like one-on-one conversations.
Man to man.
You know, these two women just can't seem to get anywhere with this story. But I guess we'll find out in these next set of pages if Carl can manage to, I don't know, have some redemption here and meet with Pamela and give her the information she needs for that Colorado cover-up story. Maybe he will have some saving grace. We'll see. Just to be optimistic, perhaps.
Not about Carl.
I'm just more mad at Brian, honestly.
Yeah. Hopefully he's just done.
All right, Yana, what is your food rating snack for these 50 pages?
You know, I was trying to think about it, and I was trying to think of, like, I don't know, I guess it's, like, the first thing that came to mind, good crepes. But, yeah, it just felt to me like it's doable, but it's maybe takes a little bit of practice before you perfect it. And that's just kind of what it felt like to me. I don't know.
It's the chef in you.
Claire, what about you? I mean, you loved this.
I
so
really
what's yours
like
gonna
these
be?
50
Like,
I was like,
and red
honestly, I was like, I didn't want to stop after these 50 pages, but I know
stopped
that
right away.
I felt like very satisfied. You know, like when you go on a really long hike and then afterwards you go get like a hamburger and french fries and a beer and then you eat all that and you're just like, ugh, like, That's how I felt. I was like, yeah,
wow, very
that was
different.
delicious. I'm full. I'm satisfied. I've had a great day.
What are you reading? What's Mutt's?
Wait, what's your sexy side piece that you finished?
I was going to ask you first.
I'm still reading the Crescent City series. I'm on House of Sky and Breath. I'm at like 85% in my Kindle. What was the book you finished somehow?
Thank you for your doubt in me. I read Ina Garten's book.
All right, my friends, we're going to be reading the next set of 50 pages.
So we're starting at 295, and it's going to take us to 346.
That's right, and it looks like we've got maybe like 2 episodes left on this book until we get into a new book. So send us your notes, your thoughts, your hopes, your dreams, your next book recommendations.
Any good gossip you got? That's
give us some
too.
tea about your life or your coworkers or your mom.
Yeah, we'll promise we'll keep it anonymous on the pod.
Yeah, we won't tell anyone.
No, and we'll read it in our voices so no one will ever know.
That's right. So send us an email at mybfbookclub@gmail.com, or you can DM us on Instagram or TikTok. It is at mybfbookclub. And TikTok has an underscore. And, you know, we're fairly new here to the podcasting world. So we'd really appreciate it if you would give us a rating, hit that follow button, and hit that 5-star button.
Hit that button.
Please just be kind. We're new here, so be gentle and you know, but also if you have feedback, please send it to our Gmail account or socials. We'd love to hear from you. So with that, remember, friends,
keep on reading.